Hi, my name is Paige. This is Temple Talks, and I am your Temple Priestess. A little background in case this is your first video you're watching of mine. I became a priestess and initiated onto the path earlier this year on the summer solstice. And my want and service for humanity is to create safe and sacred places for women to gather, to heal and grow through sharing stories and creating community through sisterhood. So, today I wanted to talk about why you might want to come to a circle that I'm hosting, whether that's virtual or in person in Phoenix, Arizona right now, or if, or and some lessons that I've learned on my journey. So, to start, why would you want to come to a circle I'm hosting? Well, one, I think it's important if you have some sort of connection. Um, I know there's certain women online that I've connected with that I follow that I enjoy, and I feel like it's just this knowledge. You just know this person resonates with you. So if you feel that, come join me. Um, a lot of those women, though, that I do follow, they've traveled around the world and they've learned these wonderful healing practices and they've gone to ancient celebrations and ceremony. And I have not had the opportunity to do that yet. But then why would you come to one of my circles? Well, I've learned a lot through my experiences in life, through losing my son, having two miscarriages, to sexual assault I've experienced, and allowing myself to begin healing through that a few years ago and finding so much healing through just the connections I made with other women who have experienced similar things or just wildly different stories of life, but have been able to come together to share their stories. I've learned how to be an active listener. I've learned how to hold the frequency to hear the depths of someone's experiences. I've learned how to hear myself fully and feel what I'm going through in its entirety. And so I have learned how to create and hold these spaces because I've had them and needed them myself. And it's been something that I've been calling into my life for myself to have this community in person, these sacred energies around us, and these stories to be told so that we can release them, so that we can share them, so we can be held and witnessed in what we've experienced and validated in those experiences. I've held spaces before in the past. I watched my friend go from just being lost in her grief and um, very erratic to being calm and grounded in herself and feeling safe in her body. And I got to watch that over the expanse of 7 days. And all I had to do was sit there with her, hold space, listen. And I think that's something that we have the ability to do as women. We have this innate, ancient calling to sit together, to gather, to talk, to use our voices, and to use the wisdom that's innately within us to help each other and guide each other through this life, because it's a wild ride. Um, and so if you feel called to have those sacred relationships, these deep, vulnerable, open, fun places where you can come and share your trials and triumphs and be celebrated through life, then I'm calling you. Um, so I thought I would just also read off a little couple lessons I've learned through life. So here we go. Your boundaries can become more and less rigid as you grow and heal. Um, I didn't know that. I definitely grew up not understanding boundaries. I either had like very rigid ones because of trauma I've experienced, or I've had just like none because of trauma I've experienced. And I processed through that and I've started for a while now implementing different boundaries, and I've had people respect them and not respect them, and I've been able to move through life a little more smoothly because of recognizing who will and won't listen to your boundaries. And I think that's really interesting that they can ebb and flow as you grow and release certain things throughout your life. Um, it's important to change your relationship and understanding of different words. This was a big one for me. Like the word lazy, I just thought I was lazy really if I just sat down and there were things that could be done. And now I'm realizing that that's called resting. Failure, I've learned that failure is just something that happens so that you can learn. I mess up everything all the time, just so many things. And I no longer beat myself up about it because I know I have the capacity and capability to learn. So I just learn. I allow myself to learn the lessons and move forward. Not to say that I don't mess it up again, you just learn the next lesson. Growth. This is a weird one because I thought growth was this everlasting change of finding what's wrong and fixing it, and learning more that growth is actually just learning to love and heal through what you're experiencing and to only deepen your roots and expand your, I guess, the top of your tree more fully into this world. Grace. I've learned that grace can often be used as an excuse, but I think grace is supposed to be an understanding that you have with yourself. It's not time. You can rest. Don't push here. You don't need to. You're going to be fine. Sort of talking to yourself a little bit more like that. Um, you can know something in your mind and not know it in your body. This is wild. I don't know if anyone else has experienced this. I know I shouldn't date this guy. I know I shouldn't just keep putting myself in this situation. I know I shouldn't um, talk to somebody like that, you know, but and then you're like, okay, you got to integrate that into your body. I know I shouldn't eat these foods that are making me feel sick. Well, you have to anchor that into something, into love is the best thing to anchor it into because then you'll move from spaces of love. So if it's about how you're eating and your eating is making you feel sick and not making you, and you have maybe health issues and you're trying to do better and you just can't stop eating, having grace for yourself, understanding that that's a big thing to fix. This is something I experience, how I eat. Um, and then taking the time to integrate that into your body. Well, why do I want to eat better? It's because I love my body. I want to be healthy and I want to have a long life with my kids. So then it's integrated a little bit more. And then you feel it more in your body and you allow it to be an experience of human body experience. Um, Next one, healing takes time. I know people say this a lot, but this needs to be integrated into your body because healing takes time. I've spent the last year very consciously working on my explosive reactions. And in the past month and a half, I've noticed it finally anchoring in where I can respond instead of react to things like strangers coming up to me in the store and literally yelling at me for like something I'm doing with my kids. Like I let my kids stand in the cart because we talk a lot about how you have to hold on and you have a steady feet. This is something we've been doing since they were little because my kids are climbers. And people come up to me just like total freak out energy because of things I've dealt with when that energy I met with that energy, I just was freaking out. It took me a year, a whole entire year of consciously working every single time I had a reaction to finally have an experience where I was one, didn't hide, didn't fight, so fight or flight or freeze. I was able to respond. And healing takes time. And now I celebrate that. And I celebrated every little itty bitty progress I made because I knew it was something I wanted to work on, even though it was a really difficult thing to experience every time. And I could have hit myself down and been like, oh, it should have been good now. But instead, I remembered healing takes time. And then I allowed it to take time and I allowed it to work. And now look at me. The next thing is, oh, this is like a crazy metaphor, but here we go. It's not about always being happy and never being triggered. It's about learning to ride the waves of life and get back on the board after you find calm under the water. My meaning behind this, we get knocked down a lot in life. Life happens to us a lot. And um, man, life happens to us a lot. And we're going to get knocked down. And the key that I have come to understand is not just get right back on that board, because I think people say that a lot. When you fall, just get back up, keep going. Sometimes you just got to lay under the water, watch the waves, and breathe. If you can breathe in your dreams underwater, maybe you know what I'm talking about. But serious, in all seriousness, just breathe, just take a moment, rest. And when you're ready, and maybe even when you're not fully ready, but it's time, get back to it. Go. Because I mean, you might have seen this graph where it's like, this is healing and it goes up and down, but you're always moving up. You're just sometimes taking little dips, taking little hits. The key is relax, take some time to settle, and then go again, try again, keep moving. The last one is, I mean, I've heard many lessons, but the last one I wanted to share is we give meaning to life. So we give meaning to everything, and you get to decide. You get to decide what that is. Are you going to experience all these signs and symbols as these negative things coming at you? Or are you going to say, okay, I'm going to find some purpose in this. I'm going to make something beautiful out of this. I'm going to give this experience meaning. When I lost my son, I tried really hard before I was ready to give it meaning, to find purpose, because if I felt the weight of it, I was afraid I'd get trapped under it. Ooh. But what I needed was to heal through it first. And once I did, I was able to give it purpose. And that's what these circles are for. I've wanted to shine some light in a world that carries so much darkness. And I'm someone who has experienced a lot of shitty, dark spots in my life. And for a long time, they were overwhelming. And I allowed it, unknowing how to not allow it, to be something that really took me into heavy, dark spaces and feeling so lost. And what I found through these sisterhoods and these communities is that there's so much healing in just knowing that other people have climbed out of their darkness. And sometimes it's climbing and clawing out. And other times it's someone reaching their hand down to pull you. And sometimes you're going to be reaching your hand down to pull each other. But we deserve to have this community of women that can help us do that and tell their experiences of all ages. Because women are wise, whether you're 14 or whether you're 40 or 90, just going along the spectrum. If you allow yourself to learn through these experiences and grow as you learn and allow yourself to be broken open and re-evolve yourself, and maybe you need to rewrite the script of who you are every once in a while, but you deserve to be around women who can be there for you through this journey because it's wild. So to finish up here, I host women's circles in person in Phoenix and on virtual through Discord. Again, I'll put all the information in here if I hadn't said it actually already. And I also am on a journey to learn mind, body, soul harmony in worlds where we're working moms, because I'm going to have to go back to work someday when you're a stay-at-home mom, because that's what I'm doing currently. Or if you're just a woman experiencing life and you have you know, cycles and we go through our circadian and our lunar rhythm and you want to figure out how do I live with that? How do I love my mind, love my body, love my soul, love my ego, love the way I move through the world? How do I find that rhythm so that you can jive with the up and downs instead of feeling like you're constantly getting knocked down? So join me on this journey. My podcast will have lots of interviews of experts and non-experts and just regular people and people who have experienced things that you might have experienced. And then, of course, we'll have my sacred spaces, our sacred spaces that please join me. I'm really looking for sisterhood and I hope you are too. So have a wonderful day with love and light and darkness. Embrace it all. I'll see you soon.